इसको उसको ढीला करिए ना थोड़ा.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परविजागाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चारण अरविंद भक्त्यंत शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. भगवद गीता की जय. Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, shloka number 4. आदिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम् आदियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहाभृतां वर. Yeah, so you can read. Somebody else can read. Translation. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called Adi Deva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul in the heart of every being, every embodied being, am called Adi Yagna, the Lord of Sacrifice. Please repeat the translation. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adi Deva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul, in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yagna, the Lord of Sacrifice. So, purport. Yeah. Actually, I have a bad throat. In between some thoda disturbance, please excuse me. Yeah. So, I will explain the purport like this. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचाने निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतान जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौरभक्तवृंद हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We are in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. First 6 chapters and last 6 chapters are like the covering of the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, the essence of Bhagavad Gita is there from 7th chapter to 12th chapter. In today's, this is the 8th chapter, attaining the Supreme. Previous shlokas, Arjuna asked some questions to Krishna, like what is Brahman, what is the cell, what are the fruitive activities, what are the demigods, who is the Lord of sacrifice, where does he live in the body, like that several questions he asked. Here in the 4th chapter, Krishna is answering those questions. Purport the first line, I read and explain. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle and they vanish. What is physical nature? This can also be called Adi Bhutam. If you see in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the soul is eternal, the soul is indestructible. To give you a better idea, I give an example. You put some, you bring some petrol, put petrol on somebody's, you throw petrol on somebody, and you put a fire. What will happen? The body will be burned. You bring one knife and you try to, cut somebody's hand. What will happen? The hand will be cut. The soul is something different to what we are seeing. Nainam chindanti shastrani. The soul cannot be cut into the pieces. You have a knife, you try to cut the soul, you cannot cut it. Because the soul's nature is eternal. Nainam dahati pavakaha. You cannot burn the body, you cannot burn the spiritual body. Everyone has a fear. Like when we travel in train or bus, there is emergency gate. Why emergency gate? Because in this material world, the nature of the material world is every step there is a danger. Yadyad, every step there is a danger. And few years before, that coronavirus came. Before the coronavirus, nobody could thought that everyone had to sit at their home. Nobody believed that. This corona has changed entire perception. Because the material nature is designed like that. Every step there is a danger. Now I am speaking to you, you are looking at me. So what will happen in the next moment we don't know. That is not in our hands. Because that's how the material nature is designed. So Krishna is saying here, the physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through the 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration. So to understand better, we were small kids, right? Then when we became 5 years, then 10 years, then 25 years, you get married. After marriage, children will come, they'll grow up. You will also grow up, you will become old. And finally, our soul leaves the body. Right? These are all the changes. So, if you see, like if you take any species, whether it is a animal species or aquatic species or trees, plants, everyone has a certain life of duration. Trees can live for 200 years, right? After that, they also have to live. Even the demigods. If you see Brahma's one day is 432 crore year. Earth on Earth planet is equal to one day of Brahma. So in that duration, he lives for 100 years. He also has to leave his body. So that's how this material nature is designed. So Krishna is giving an understanding about the soul. We can appreciate soul is amazing. As I said, we cannot burn the soul. You cannot cut the soul into pieces. If somebody drowns in the water, if they don't know the swimming, they will die. The soul is not like that. Soul is cannot be moistened by water. So that's the beauty of the soul. Like Prabhupada gives the example in the Science of Self-Realization, very famous example. One beautiful woman is there, and one person comes and proposes him. I would like to marry you. Then she's very beautiful externally. So she says, okay, you come back after 2 weeks or 10 days. Then we'll see. So after 10 days when he comes, this woman, she fasted for 10 days. She did not take any food or anything. After 10 days, all her body became, we cannot see, like all the beauty has gone. Then this guy came and told, you were so beautiful, what happened to you? So my beauty is there, you see. Means she fasted, vomited, something like that, right? So this metal body, it's like a illusion. It has a beginning, it has an end. Like if you see, like most beautiful actresses, like when they are young, how they look. When they become old, you cannot look at them. The same woman, because the material nature is changing. Whereas on the contrast, if you see at the time of Mahabharat, what was the Krishna's age? Somebody can. Yes, the age of Krishna was 125 years when he was in the battle of Kurukshetra. If you look at the Krishna's picture, do you find anywhere he's old? Do you find any picture somewhere that God is old? Never. Why? Yeah. So Krishna's body is Ishvaraha Paramaha Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadiradri Govinda Sarvakarnakaram. So Krishna's body is Sachidananda Vigraha. Means eternal form of bliss. His body is eternal form of bliss, fully bliss, eternal, and full of consciousness. That is Krishna's body. Because Krishna is having spiritual body. That's the beauty of the spiritual body. You look amazing. And you will never become old. And no death also. So this is the nature of the spiritual body, right? The physical nature is called Adi Bhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adi Deva. So here, the physical nature, Adi Bhuta. See, in the Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful shloka. In the first shloka of Bhagavatam, it says, Tejo Vari Murdam Vinimayaha. Right? So the example is, if you're seeing here beautiful, big skyscraper buildings are there, and even if you see our body, so the basic elements are earth, water, fire, air, either space. Prabhupada gives the example, you bring some mud, put some water into that, mix it, and you make it as a brick. And you bring some iron and, iron concrete, then you made a nice building. So what is the building made up of? What are the components? Earth, water, fire, air, space. Similarly, if you see our body, if you see the bones inside our body, it's nothing but the fine transformation of earth. And when you eat the food, how the food is getting digested? There is some, after when we eat the food, something called jatarakni, which produces the fire, acid inside the body. So it is a main component which will help for digesting our food, right? And if you see in our body, most content is made up of water, right? So air is circulating na blood from different parts of the body. Blood circulation is happening through air. If you see, the beauty is everything, these are the basic components. Tejo vari vinamayaha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, space. These are the basic elements. So the whole creation is made up of these panchabhutas, these metal elements. Even our bodies are also made up of metal elements. Let us say somebody, some 10 years before, when you are not in touch with ISKCON, you don't know about Krishna conscious philosophy. So generally, when you look at a person, somebody is beautiful, we get bewildered by that. So, we'll bewildered. So actually, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we are able to realize that this beauty is not permanent. It's only temporary. It's only illusion. And so the same thing is saying here, this physical nature is called Adi Bhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at certain point. So this is very important. When we take our birth, if you know, if you go to a good astrologer, he will be able to tell you what is your time of death also. He can tell you the death time also. So in this creation, everything has a beginning and everything has an ending. Adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. The material pleasures also have a beginning and an end. We all know that this creation happens, the Brahma's duration is 100 years, and one day of Brahma is 432 crore years. You multiply with 365, 432 crore years on Earth planet into 365, that is 1 year into 100. So that is the duration of Brahma's life. When the Mahavishnu, he breathes out, all the universes will come outside. All Brahmandas will come. In Telugu, if somebody knows Annamacharya, famous, is incarnation of the Lord. He has composed a song. He says that Hariyavatar Mule Yakila Devatalu Harilo Nive Brahmandamulu. So beautifully composed. What he says, all the Brahmandas are coming out from the body of Mahavishnu. He beautifully composed in that song. So same thing, our Bhagavatam first canto, first sloka, same thing it says. All the Brahmandas are coming out from the body of Mahavishnu. So when the Mahavishnu breathes out, all the Brahmandas are coming. And the Mahavishnu inhales, all the Brahmandas are getting annihilated. And all the living species are entering into the body of Mahavishnu, including Brahma. So here the beauty is, in Bhagavatam, one place it says, one breath cycle of Mahavishnu is if Mahavishnu breathes out and he breathes in, that is the duration of Brahma. Brahma will die. He will take birth, he will do creation, it will run for 100 years and destruction happens. Just to Mahavishnu's one breath is equal to the lifetime of Brahma. You can imagine. So we are very tiny jivas. So Supreme Lord is Vibhu. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adi Deva. So if we see in the Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, Krishna speaks about the universal form. Have you heard about universal form? Heard? Yeah. Like how it will be? What is universal form? Somebody can tell.
Hare Krishna. These universes are seven planetary systems. So the seven planetary systems has like a form. So like we have a form. So we have legs, thighs, and stomach, and hands and head. Like that, this whole planetary system is called universal form. So this is Atal, Patal, Vital, Talatal, Sutal,
Correct.
Bhuvarlok, Maharlok, and this like
Yeah.
that.
It's a beautiful explanation. First, I tell you why Lord is shown the universal form. Because we are having like we are having a material conception. Material conception means we think that I am this body, you are my friend, they are my relatives, this is my country. This is the understanding we are having. So in the same way, Krishna shown universal form to Arjuna so that we can relate through what we perceive, right? So in the universal form, like the bones of the Lord, universal form are compared to mountains. The eyes are compared to sun and moon, right? So when you see the description like this, you will be able to imagine how the Supreme Lord looks. Actually, the Supreme Lord is the beautiful form of the two-handed form of Krishna. But currently, we cannot appreciate spiritual forms. We cannot appreciate spiritual form. If you see Narada Muni could see Paramatma, he had a darshan of Paramatma. After having the darshan of Paramatma, all his senses got eliminated. Means completely liberated, full of happiness, full of joy. And next moment, Paramatma disappeared. And then Narada Muni again he was trying to meditate and see the form of the Lord. He could not see him. And so the form of the Lord is so beautiful. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham. If you see the Kamadeva, he's the most beautiful personality in the universe, Kamadeva. So if you multiply his beauty with some million times and trillion times, that's the beauty of Krishna. Krishna's form is so beautiful that we cannot imagine actually. Even Krishna also, one day he saw his form, the reflection of his form in the water, river. He also got stunned by seeing his own beauty. So Krishna is the most beautiful personality. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham. So that is actually Krishna's body. So for our understanding, he is sometime manifesting in the form of universal form. All the demigods and their different planets is called Adi Deva, and the present in the body along with the individual soul is a super soul, a clear representation of Lord Krishna. So we need to understand Paramatma. Who is Paramatma? Who is Paramatma? Brahma is Paramatma. Who is Paramatma? Right? Krishna is only Paramatma. His plenary expansion is called Paramatma. Krishna's plenary expansion is called Paramatma. Where is Paramatma? In your heart? Okay. So does Paramatma is there in the body of a dog also? Or only in the humans? Yes. Yes. So Lord Andantarastha Paramanu Jayantarastham. The Lord is there inside the atom and is there inside the heart of all living entities, including animals, birds, aquatic species, human species, trees and plants. So all there, Lord is there. And what is he doing? Why is sitting there in the heart of everybody's heart? Why is sitting there? Huh? Sorry? Yes, very good. Anumanta Upadrishta. So Paramatma, we are enjoying life because of Paramatma, right? How you are able to see me, I'm able to see you, you're breathing, you are able to hear. Everything is happening because Paramatma is the one. Suppose you are seeing at me, before you, Paramatma sees me. And then he translates to you. Then you will understand that I am so and so person. Like when you go to a family, we have father, mother, brother, sister, everybody is there. You're able to relate with each other in a particular relationship because Paramatma is the one actually who is helping you. He's translating, okay, he's your father, he's your mother, he's your brother, he's your friend. So that's how we're actually able to lead the life. Paramatma is very active in our life. And as he said, Anumanta Upadrishta. So Paramatma is the one who is observing all our desires, all our actions. And if you have any desire, let us say I wanted to become Prime Minister, I have a desire. Paramatma is watching my desire. And then he is guiding me. If I want to become Prime Minister, what should I do? So he's guiding me. We have to go to politics, we have to learn about politics, we have to do social service. So he'll give you all the intelligence. If I have enough karma, punya karma, to become a Prime Minister, he will guide me, I will become. In case I do not have enough punya karma, then what he will do, he will guide me to do punya karmas. So that I will get punya, the piety I will get, punya karma, and then I will become the minister. So, like this, Paramatma is very much active in our life. Very much active. And another thing is Anumanta Upadrishta. Anumanta means he is watching our desires and he is sanctioning our desires. Unless Paramatma sanctions, nothing will happen. You may desire so many things. You may work very hard. But until the Paramatma sanctions, it will not be delivered to you. If we, when we come to the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there the 5 factors of successful action is described. In that, the 5th one is a Daivam, Paramatma. So that is also a very important factor. So here the important thing is Paramatma is very active. The super soul is called Paramatma or Adiyagna is situated in the heart. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word, the Lord stresses the Paramatma is non-different from Him. And one more important thing is Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. So Lord Krishna, He expanded into Balaram, then Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, then Mahavishnu. Then again second quadruple expansion, then Mahavishnu, then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, then Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. From Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, all avatars will come. But all these avatars are non-different from Krishna. Advaitam, this is called Advaya Gnana, non-dual. Advaya Gnana, very important. Advaya Gnana. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. So Lord is having unlimited forms. Bhagavatam says, can you count the tides, the number of tides in the river, in the ocean? You cannot count. Similarly, the Lord's expansions are unlimited. The Lord, the super soul seated beside the individual soul is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various types of consciousness. So everyone's consciousness is different. Like if you say like Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tamoguna, this is a combination. So if you see one person, each person is having a unique personality, unique nature and unique behavior, unique character. How it happens? Because of the combination of the 3 modes. Somebody is having more Sattva Guna, little Rajaguna and Tamoguna. Somebody is having more Rajaguna, little Tamoguna and little Satguna. Somebody is having more Tamasic, little Sattva. So it's a combination. Like that, these three combination, permutation combination, you multiply. Like that, you'll get so many varieties. Variety kinds of people also, personalities you will get. And Lord is witnessing our actions. Somebody may think that nobody is seeing me. I will do some sinful activity. They think that nobody is watching me. Let us say some thief is there, right? He will go and he will steal something. He is thinking that nobody is watching me. I can steal. But actually, Paramatma is watching him. So nobody can escape from the eyes of God. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witness these activities. So, very important point here about the free will. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely. So, we are all here in the material world because we wanted to live independent of Krishna. So, Krishna has given us the free will to the Jiva. If you wish, you can be in the association of Krishna, or if you wish, you can be independent of Krishna. So, at one point of time, we had chosen that I wanted to be independent from Krishna. So, that's how we all came to this material world. So, this free will is very important. Now, if we wanted to surrender to Krishna, Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. So, we have to exercise our free will towards Krishna. We have to follow the process of sadhana bhakti. So by gradually doing that, our love for Krishna will develop. It will be awakened. Everyone has love for Krishna. Unfortunately, it is covered now. So when we follow the process of devotional service, the sadhana bhakti process, gradually our love for Krishna will be awakened. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Sorry, I have a bad throat. Sorry. Okay. So, when we engage in the devotional service of the Lord will slowly start reveal himself. If we make one step towards Krishna, Krishna will come forward 100 steps towards us. If you make 2 steps forward towards Krishna, he will come 200 steps towards us. So it's very important. Eyatamam prapadyamte tam sataiva bhajami. So here it says the universal form of the Lord is contemplated by the neophyte devotee. As I said in the beginning, we cannot appreciate we cannot appreciate the beauty, the spiritual form of the Krishna. So for that reason, those who are neophytes in the devotional service, for them to understand, Krishna manifested in the form of the universal form. In the Bhagavatam second canto, the description of the universal form of the Lord is given. Few shlokas I read so that you will have some understanding. Yeah. You should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu one after another without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleaning the dirty things created by them. Yeah. The gigantic universal form of the Supreme Lord within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by the sevenfold material elements, is the subject of Virat conception. Here, the description is given. Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and toes are Rasatala planet. We all know that there are 14 planetary systems, right? Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Svargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka. Atala, Vitala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. 14 planetary systems. So, when you look at the creation, like because people are too much engrossed by the material nature, so generally when we look at the nature, we can appreciate the nature. Let us say you go to a beautiful garden. So when you see the beautiful garden, immediately you get some happiness, some joy. So you cannot appreciate the supreme super soul or supreme Lord because we don't have the idea of what is actually spiritual body, who is super soul, right? So that's why when you look at the nature and appreciates that, so we can easily connect to the supreme Lord. So for those people who are materially engrossed, this is a good way to appreciate God. So here it is said, the Patala Loka, the bottom of the planets, are the bottom of the feet. If you see the feet, na, bottom, actually that is represents the Patala. And the toes, heels and toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets and the shanks constitute the Talatala planets. The knees of the universal form are the planetary system of the name Sutala. The two thighs are Vitala and Atala. If you see the thighs of the Supreme Lord, they are called Atala and Vitala. The hips are Mahatala. Outer space is the depression of his navel. The chest is the luminary planetary system. His neck is Mahar planets. His mouth is Jana planets. His forehead is Tapa planet. And the topmost head is Satyaloka planet. So this is the description about the universal form. We will end here. Somebody is having any questions or any listen, please I can discuss for 5 minutes. It's 8:24. Yeah. कुछ क्वेश्चन कुछ प्रश्न है तो पूछ सकता है. Somebody having any doubts? Yes. Somebody mic probably mic please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful class. One question I had in this connection was, Krishna, how does Krishna, can you talk about how Krishna reminds us to see his manifestation in the material world, through the elements which are available around us? I think he describes it in the 10th chapter or the 9th chapter. So if you could explain that, that would be wonderful. Hare
It's a good point. Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya, right? So, if somebody comes and gives the water, sea water, you go to sea, beach, somebody gives a water to drink, sea water, you cannot drink it. Why? Why cannot drink that? It is very salty, right? So, and Prabhupada says, let us say some drunkard is there. When he is drinking, if he can remember that this is the taste of Krishna, very soon he will come to Krishna. Right? So here the thing is, if you see the water is very sweet. So that sweetness is Krishna. Rasoham apsu kauntaya. So every day while you're drinking water, don't drink quickly. Slowly you drink the water and meditate. Experience the taste of water. And remember Krishna. This is Krishna. This taste is Krishna. Then what will happen? Your devotion will increase. Your faith will increase in Krishna. So in 10th chapter, there are, he says, among all the Vedas, I am the Sama Veda. Among the demigods, I am the Indra. So how do we understand this? If somebody wants to get the post of Indra, he must have done 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. I'll tell you to understand what is Ashwamedha Yajna. Ashwamedha Yajna, what happens? They leave on horse to all the countries. If somebody, any king challenges that I would like to fight with you, then he should go there, he should fight with that king, he should defeat him, and then he should go to the next kingdom. Like that, all over the world, he should send that horse to all the kingdoms. He should conquer all the kings. So after that, they'll come and perform the yajna. They will put the whatever the horse is there. Now, after traveling all over all the kingdoms, finally it comes back to him. Then he will do that sacrifice. He will leave the horse into the sacrifice. That is one Ashwamedha Yajna. So like that, one must have done 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. Then only he will get that power. Let us imagine one prime minister is there. Maximum he can rule for 1 term or 2 term, maximum 3 or 4. Not beyond that. Imagine he is challenging entire world, and like that 100 times, 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas is performing, and he will only get that Indra post. And Krishna is telling, among the demigods, I am the Indra. So when you see the Devatas, many lakhs and lakhs of Devatas are there, right? So many, 33 crore demigods are there. 33 crore Devatas there. So when you look, this Indra is among all the demigods, he is the king, and that is Krishna's representations. We can imagine the power of Krishna. Right? So like this, if you, we have a short time. Like that in the 10th chapter, the opulence of the absolute, Krishna has given the detailed explanation about this. Hope Prabhu, it's good. So we'll end the class here. Anybody having questions can come personally. Vancha kalabdharabhyascha krupasanabhyascha patidanam bhavane. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.